You guys know what's so frustrating about Asian beauty standards? The reason why these beauty standards are so hard to achieve is literally because Asians just don't usually naturally have those features. For example,
no real age requirement to get surgery. Now we have a bunch of young girls who aren't even fully developed yet getting plastic surgery. Personally,
it's not that they want you to look like a child, but they want you to look like a doll. Means no blemishes, no freckles, no nothing.
Glad to have you amazing great another exciting time at Comfort for Life Network. Glad to have you. Kindly don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, you're most welcome. For my returning subscribers, I love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for all your feedback. I appreciate you guys. As you watch this video, I just want you to figure out how can we be like the solution to this. What are the things that we can suggest to artists, people who are suffering while you see that young people have to go through surgery to fit into this, because there's this fairness and paleness of the skin that is considered attractive as it's associated with youth and elegance and wealth. Just imagine a young person who is having because I know that young people they go through that stage, especially in their teenage years, where they have to like find that self-love, they have to gain confidence. And when such standard of beauty are laid in front of them and they find that they're unreachable, is this right? We are not saying that having plastic surgery, as people would prefer to have, is wrong. But if young people are now finding themselves in this situation, then something is wrong. Listen to the few stitches that I put together.
Whenever I see ads like this, it makes me feel really sad because it reminds me of the time when I used to live in Asia and it used to really affect my self-esteem, and I'm pretty sure it still affects a lot of people to this day because look, that is what you're saying is attractive. That. Really, really pale.
My For You page has been pushing out a lot of content about the Avatar The Last Airbender since they have a new live action. And something I want to talk about is the unrealistic beauty standards that is placed on us women. There are a lot of people giving hate toward the actors who play Azula and Mei. And sure, there's a lot of people who will say the personalities don't really match up, but I feel like most of the hate is based off of their appearance, them not being an exact replica of what people have seen on TV, which I feel like that's an expectation that is going to be impossible for anyone to meet. I think it's really unfair that people are placing expectations on these teenagers who were kids at the time of filming to have a snatched jaw or a small face, when most Asians do have a round face and they were just kids. I feel really sad for these Asian woman actors who will very likely see a lot of these hate comments and feel like they are not good enough because they don't look a certain way. And then them potentially wanting to change the way they look and the cost of trying to meet those expectations. I think us as a society need to do better. And a lot of the health and beauty industry profits off of people's insecurities. In fact, harmful beauty ideals like this cost the US economy $305 billion due to body dissatisfaction and $501 billion due to appearance-based discrimination annually. That's $800 billion a year.
Japanese beauty standard. White skin. My skin is whiter than most of Japanese people, and I got a lot of compliments growing up. People saying, shiroi! I saw a white girl on TikTok saying Japanese beauty standard is coming from white women. I don't know about that, but we love looking like a K-pop idol in Japan too. Being as skinny as possible. Girls here talk about diets all the time. I thought it was normal to talk about that all the time with the girls until I left Japan. I think it's really toxic. It's like if you weigh over 50 kilograms, you're fat. As a result, so many girls have body dysmorphia. Double eyelids. You guys know what double eyelids means? I have this like line. My eyes are double eyelid. Some people don't have it. For example, my big sister used to not have a line, but now she got it. Plastic surgery. Oh, there's so many girls who got it done. It's so common. I think it makes your eyes look bigger. Double eyelids, big eyes. We love that. Behaving well. I know in the US, like having a sense of humor is a good thing. It's a positive thing for women to have that quality, right? But in Japan, if you're funny and joking around, it could be a negative thing. And I learned this from American professor who's like learning about Japanese culture and American culture. And he said being being funny in Japan is not as positive as it is in the US. And I completely agree with
Beauty
that.
standards in Korea are unreal. Firstly, South Korea is the beauty capital of the world. They also set standards for skincare and beauty all across the world. And it's so much cheaper in Korea to get surgery than it is anywhere else. I personally have never gotten any work done before, or else I wouldn't be using double eyelid stickers to even out my eyes. I know all this information because my family still lives there and I'm Korean. I don't think plastic surgery is bad at all, but I do think that the standards that Korea is setting is pretty negative. There's no real age requirement to get surgery. Now we have a bunch of young girls who aren't even fully developed yet getting plastic surgery. Personally, my heart would shatter if my 15-year-old daughter came up to me and said, "Hey mom, I don't like my nose, my lips, my jaw, whatever, and I want to get plastic surgery." I think my heart would shatter. What I think is the most frustrating is when people lie about getting plastic surgery done. They say they didn't when they did, and now we're setting unrealistic expectations of beauty in society. Number 2, you have to be very pale or fair skinned. Now I am considered extremely dark in Korean standards. I was living in Korea. I went to Olive Young to buy more foundation as I had run out, and the lady helping me felt so bad because she was like, "We don't have anything in your shade, you're just a little too dark." I have this obsession with fair skin because it's rooted in tradition. Having fair, light skin meant you were noble. Every single time I go to a Korean bathhouse, someone always comments about how dark or tan I am, and not in a complimenting way. Number 3, you have to be very, very slim. Korea loves having slim bodies. The average weight of a Korean woman in Korea is actually 128 pounds, which is crazy, guys. That's the average. Whereas the average weight for women in the US is 170. We can get into this in another video, but while I was living there, I did go on a couple agency meetings, and they told me that I was considered plus. I'm a US 4. But yeah, Korea is amazing, it's beautiful, it's fun, but honestly, size inclusivity, beauty standards, any of that, mental health, I think is lacking. The reason I'm saying this is because everyone thinks that Korea is only perfect, that there's nothing wrong with it. Of course, every country, every society has its wrongs, and I think these are aspects that Korea could probably do better in.
You guys know what's so frustrating about Asian beauty standards? The reason why these beauty standards are so hard to achieve is literally because Asians just don't usually naturally have those features. For example, one of the beauty standards in Asia is to have a tall nose bridge, a tall nose. But guess what? Most Asians have low nose bridges. Most of us have flat noses, and this is just like genetic. But guess what the beauty standard is? It's to have a tall nose bridge. And guess what? Most Asians don't have a tall nose bridge. Like, it's not that common. Make it make sense. That's why so many people get plastic surgery for this. Another Asian beauty standard is to have a small, skinny, oval face. I don't know if you've noticed, but one of the most common face shapes in Asia is literally round. Yet society and media don't see it as attractive, and so many people hate their round faces. I mean, I'm trying to love my round face, but if I have to be honest with you, it's been hard because I've hated my round face for a long time. But then I started to realize, I started looking at all of my family members, and literally every single one of my family members has a round face. That's why a lot of Asian people, to achieve this unattainable beauty standard, they literally get surgery to shave their jaw off so that they don't have this. And I know we hate to admit it, but so many of our favorite idols, our favorite actors have gotten work done to fit into this beauty standard. And I know a lot of fans like to deny it. They say it's like puberty or whatnot, but come on, let's be realistic here. Your face shape does not change with puberty. Your nose does not get higher with puberty. Your jaw doesn't just naturally get smaller as you age. This video isn't to bash anyone who gets any work done to fit those standards, because you do you. I love that for you. I'm a true believer of you can do whatever you want to your own body, and if that makes you most comfortable in your own skin, then you should totally do it. It's just frustrating to see so many young people be upset about their appearance because they can't attain these unattainable beauty standards. I mean, I literally struggle with this daily. Like the other day, I was just looking into the mirror and I started to kind of tear up because I came to this realization that I just can never naturally reach this unattainable beauty standard that has been set for us. So if you're frustrated with this too, I hope you know that so many of us also struggle with this and that you're not alone. I'm still taking it day by day and learning to embrace and love the natural features I have been given, even if they don't fit the Asian beauty standard. And I hope you can too. Sending you guys love.
Growing up, everyone would tell me that I would be way prettier if I stopped swimming and playing water polo. Craziest part was I literally went to a 70% Asian high school and grew up in a very prominent Asian area. Because I grew up with dark skin and colorism is so deep rooted in Asian communities, I literally hated my skin tone my entire life. And I just came back from a 10-day trip to Fiji. Now my DMs are flooded with comments asking how I'm gonna be getting rid of my tan. Obvious answer is that I obviously will not be. You're trying to change your mentality about this. I think the biggest thing that you need to accept is that the beauty standard is bullshit. As someone who had really bad self-confidence and image issues, I really had to work on the perception of how I viewed brown skin in my own head. Now, as someone who has a white boyfriend, literally has to stay away from the sun 24/7, has made me appreciate my brown skin even more. Most importantly, I just learned to accept my skin the way it is. Why would I want to be anyone else? Because we are all unique and beautiful in our own ways, and this is how you should feel too.
Being told, oh, you look Korean, is considered a compliment, which I think is really interesting, especially as a Filipino American, because I know there aren't any like bad intentions behind it, but the fact that like one ethnicity and being told you like look like that is a compliment, and it's like equivalent to being pretty or being beautiful, while I've heard the opposite of when someone is viewed as like Filipino who might be East Asian, it's like an insult. And before you say it's not that deep, it took me so many years to unlearn that belief that being Filipina, specifically being full Filipina, is just not less than being Asian Filipina, for example, or any other like East Asian ethnicity. Because in being told these things, like that other ethnicities and being seen as those other ethnicities are compliments, and that just shouldn't be the case. Like it should be neutral, you know? Like me personally, I do think I look full Filipina, and I'm really proud of it. And it did honestly take me a long time to get to this position and this confidence in my identity as a full Filipina American. Like I know where it comes from. Korea has a lot of cultural capital. I'm not sure if that's the right term for it in terms of like Asian beauty, and East Asia kind of has the hold on that, whereas Southeast Asian countries don't always have that. And like the stars that you see that are Filipino, both in the US and in the Philippines, tend to be mixed. And just to be clear, being mixed does not make anybody any less like Filipino, doesn't take away their identity, but it's more like when it's the only thing being shown and being showcased. So there's just always these messages that it's like both from internal and external, that being full Filipina isn't as beautiful as being these other ethnicities being mixed. I don't know where I was going. This is kind of long-winded, but what I'm trying to say is being viewed as another ethnicity, even if meant well, it sucks that it's positioned as a compliment, but I'm glad that I'm at a place where I don't take it as a compliment and I don't read into their bad intentions. Like there aren't any bad intentions, but just understanding where it comes from. It sucks, but I'm really glad that I've learned to protect myself and like be where I am and proud of my identity.
Okay, so you know how as a Korean, I said that Korean skincare is a scam because it's not the only thing Koreans use to get.
My biggest pet peeve, hands down, has to be when Korean beauty influencers build their entire following by selling this image and this belief that Korean people are inherently better at taking care of their skin than any other race or ethnicity. A lot of times I see these Korean beauty influencers come on here with like these wild claims about supplements and skincare products, and their only proof is, trust me bro, I'm Korean. It is insane. And people eat that shit up like crazy. It's insane. And if Koreans perceivably have better skin than other people, it's certainly not because of supplements or skincare products. It's because there's an intense social stigma that's attached to being ugly in Korea. Pretty privilege is a whole nother level in Korea. Especially in a country as misogynistic as Korea, a lot of women can only secure their financial stability by maintaining their looks. Your looks are attached to everything. your ability to get a job, because in Korea, when you apply to jobs, you have to submit a photo of yourself, and it affects your ability to maintain and keep a social life as well. And that's mainly why Korean people have better skin, because they feel a greater pressure to take care of their skin. And so ultimately, I also think that the popularity of Korean beauty influencers is intensely attributed to privilege. Because Korean pop culture has been so accepted into the white mainstream, Korean beauty influencers don't have to do as much work to gain the trust of their viewers. They can just use that excuse of, trust me, I'm Korean, whenever they're trying to influence people into buying products and supplements, or just overall establishing their credibility. And a lot of you guys watching this are probably like, well, whatever, it's not that deep. This is mainly just advice for Korean beauty influencers who've established their entire following and their credibility on them just being Korean. It's just not gonna last long. It's gonna tumble down eventually.
That was it about this video, but I would want to just few thoughts before I conclude this video. Or all has to start in the mind. If you change your mindset and see yourself as beautiful the way you are, that's where the confidence comes from. Also, stop comparing yourself to others. When you compare yourself to others, while there's also the media that is playing a big role. You can see from movies, you see it's playing a good role. It's doing its job, so that this narrative would continue on and on and on. But it has to start with the mind. Also, our parents have to keep affirming to their children that they're beautiful. I'm so concerned by these young people who have to go to surgery because of this. Also realize that you don't need to meet imposed beauty standards to be beautiful. True beauty comes from the within, and it is reflected in how you feel, how you treat others. There's so many people who are so beautiful, but they have a very rotten heart. But what makes you beautiful is that how you treat people. So that was it about this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like the video. Also, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section. Goodbye for now. Appreciate you.